Hi and welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Garance French and this is Garance French Revolution. So today, as is in the title, we are going to be talking about Little Miss Sunshine. Now, I made a whole ass PowerPoint, well, Canva presentation because it's 2024, we don't do PowerPoints anymore, but I actually recorded this video before, but I didn't like it, and I kind of changed the whole format of it, so I made a Canva presentation. This is what I used to do like in middle school and high school, in college. I used to love doing presentations and I was very good at it. So I just went back to what I did when I was like in middle school and totally works for me. So we're gonna try with this video. I have another video that I'm shooting right after. And yeah, so we're gonna try. You tell me if you like or not this format. So this Canva presentation, oh my god, I really feel like I'm back in middle school. Well, in a good way, not like I don't wish I was back in middle school because So this presentation is called "What Little Miss Sunshine Really Is About," in my humble opinion, by Garance French Revolution. That's me. First of all, I'd like to address the poster. I love it. I love it. I love this poster. The bright yellow and like the people running in the van, and that's so funny and so cool. And it represents the film so well. And I love this poster. And I always remembered it because I remember watching this movie when I was young. And although I don't remember the movie much, I remember the poster for sure. I remember the poster, the bright yellow and the van and the craziness. I remember that. So I was really happy to go back to that movie because I did not remember much about it. So I was very curious. I remember liking the movie and I remember crying. But I don't remember exactly what was in it. So I was like, let's fix that. Let's watch it. So what are we talking about? That's a great question you asked me. You don't ask. I'm giving you the answer, but you didn't ask. But well, if you click on this video, technically you asked. So anyway, what are we talking about? The title is Little Miss Sunshine. It was released in 2006. It was written by Michael Ont. On I'm sorry, I'm French. It was directed by Jonathan Dayton and Valerie Faris, and it is starring Greg Kinnear, Toni Collette, Steve Carell, Paul Dano, Abigail, Abigail Breslin, and Alan Arkin. Fun fact, while I was doing this presentation, I was watching Scream Queens, which is a show from Ryan Murphy that I really like. Abigail Breslin, so the little girl who plays Olive, the main character, she's in that show. And so I was seeing her name, Abigail Breslin, like in the credit every time, and I was like, I know that name. I know that girl. I know her from somewhere. And then I do this presentation, I'm like, oh, this is her. This is the girl from Scream Queens. It's like she's grown in Scream Queens, but like that was very funny, so I thought that was a sign that I should do this video. I copied the names straight up from Wikipedia because I could not be bothered to write them down like individually, so I just copy pasted and here we are. Something else that is important to mention that I put in the bonus category, it has an Oscar for Best Original Screenplay. So I believe it was in 2007. And yeah, I thought that was important to mention because I'm a screenwriter myself and I personally loved this movie, but like I love the screenplay. I am so happy that it has an Oscar because it is really worth it. So before we go into anything, we have some trigger warnings. I try to be light and playful and bring joy, but we're going to talk about some pretty heavy topics. If those topics are not okay for you right now, skip the video. I don't care. I don't mind. Just, take care of yourself. You don't have to watch this video. I won't mind. So, yeah, these are some trigger warnings. If I forget any, please let me know. So, first of all, a synopsis. Again, copied straight from internet because I'm Gen Z. That's not justification, but anyway. The Hoover story. The father, Richard, is desperate to sell his nine-step journey to success. The mother, Cheryl, is trying to cover up the failings of her brother, a suicidal pro specialist who has just been discharged from the hospital after being fired by his lover. The Hoover children are not without their own unlikely dreams. 7-year-old daughter Olive dreams of becoming a beauty queen, while brother Dwayne has taken a vow of silence until he enters the Air Force Academy. When Olive gets an invitation to compete for the highly selective title of Little Miss Sunshine in California, the whole family decides to rally behind her. So there they are, crammed into their rusty Volkswagen station wagon, heading west for a tragicomic 3-day journey that will bring them face to face with unexpected events. Alright, let's dive in. The first part. Part 1, Little Girls Don't Exist. I think one of the most prominent themes in this movie is beauty standards and the expectations that are placed on girls from a very young age. And I mean, we said Olive is 7-year old and she dreams of being a beauty queen. When we first see her, she's like in her room looking at a video of a beauty queen accepting a title and she's like waving, parading around. And Olive is trying to mimic her, to be like her. Little girls only role models or models. Like you don't have a choice but to see those beautiful, gorgeous women. Mind you, these women, models, and everyone, like they're beautiful, they represent a standard of beauty that cannot be reached, and especially by little girls. And so seeing all those women who are very skinny and white and who has pretty hair and pretty makeup, and we think, oh, I want to be like her because she's pretty and she gets validation from people, so I want to be like her. Basically, it teaches us that if you don't look like this, then you're not beautiful, and if you're not beautiful, you don't have any worth. So that's why Olive wants to compete in those pageants, because she wants to have worth, she wants to feel beautiful, and so she's rehearsing for a title and for dances and stuff. But the thing is, in those kind of pageants, little girls don't exist. By that I mean that little girls are erased. Like as a kid, as a child, as a little girl, you don't have the right to exist. You have to be a grown woman at all time. Not only on like psychological level, like you're expected to be mature, you're expected to be more mature than the boys, you know. The boys have the right to be children and do bad things and make mistakes. But the girls, we don't really have that chance. We have to be mature and perfect since birth. And we also have to look like adults. Something that particularly shocked me in this movie was when they do attend the pageant, we see all those little girls parading around in like bathing suit and heels and makeup like they are grown women. And I'm gonna put the pictures, but like not for long because it's very shocking to me and it's so weird. And so I'm gonna put the picture so that you can see it, like what I mean. But yeah, these little girls, like what, 7 year old, 8 year old, and they are being paraded around like grown women. They are being hypersexualized because like why do you need to wear a bikini like that as a kid? They're being treated like adult women and they're being hypersexualized because this kind of pageants, even when it's grown women competing, it is hypersexualized and it is for the male viewers. It is like they are trying to be as sexy as possible. Of course, we also have these like things where they can have a talent. So, what's your talent? And I've never watched like this like Miss Universe or Miss pageants, but they ask questions about global issues and stuff and what they would do, and they have to answer that and be eloquent, and that's a good thing. But like most of the show is still like you have to be sexy. You have to walk around in a bathing suit. You have to walk around in a pretty dress. You have to have a lot of makeup. And they do the same to little girls because these kind of pageants, they exist in real life. In my opinion, that's disgusting. Like pageants, beauty pageants in general, mid, right? Ugh. There's so many things to talk about there, but like for little girls, like it's just so bad. And as a child, as a little girl, you just don't get the right to exist. You have to be a grown woman at all time. You're hypersexualized from a very young age, and even if you don't wear bikinis and you don't do beauty pageants, I mean, I was a little girl myself, and I was hypersexualized as a child, as a teenager, by other teenagers, but also by people who were much older than me. You don't get to be young and innocent. There's this very misogynistic take that women have an expiration date, like past 25 or past 30, you expired, like goodbye, you're not worth anything anymore because you're not considered beautiful anymore. You only have value if you have youth and beauty as a woman, and here they have youth and beauty. And so that's what it's taught to little girls, that you need to have beauty, otherwise you don't have any worth. And you need to have beauty now, even at 7 year old. And that's so shocking to me. Like, recently, like this year, there's been on TikTok a lot of like kids who have like full on TikTok accounts and who do like skincare routines. Like 5 year old, 6 year old who are like doing skincare routines. Like, ma'am, you are like they were doing anti-aging skincare routine at 6 year old. Like, tell me we don't live in a dystopian world. Like, they've been told so much that you shouldn't age, you shouldn't have lines, you shouldn't have wrinkles, you shouldn't have pimples. That at the age of like 6 year old, they're starting to do anti-aging skincare routines because they are so scared of aging, because they know that if they are not considered beautiful anymore, they won't have any value. And mind you, they're not aging yet. They are just growing up because they're kids, right? And that's just insane. When I think about that, I also think about, teenagers. I feel like teenagers these days, even back in my day a little bit, I'm not that old, but teenagers are always trying to dress like they're much older than they actually are. Like if you look at pictures of me or my sisters when we were teenagers versus teenagers now, it's like, why do they look like they're 25? Because they are trying to look 25. They are wearing more revealing clothing. They are wearing a lot of makeup. Not everyone, obviously. I'm just talking about some people, but because they are trying to appear older than they are because they want to be considered women. We don't have that like ugly face anymore. Like when I was a teenager, when I was a kid, I was never ugly, mind you. Bullies were telling me I was, but I was not. There's always that awkward face, right? Well, you're going through puberty, you're trying to find your own style. It can be kind of a mess. And I have many photos of myself. I'm like, this will never get out. People don't have this phase anymore. They're just, from a young age, they are starting to worry about their skincare routine and what they're wearing and their style and their Instagram and TikTok account. And that's very concerning in my opinion. Like, what do you mean? Like, when I was 6, I was not worried about not having wrinkles. I didn't fucking know what wrinkles were. And that's really what this movie shows, in my opinion, is that little girls are expected to be so grown and mature and sexualized from a very young age. It happens mostly to women, to girls, and to girls of color. And that's just so disgusting because this society has normalized pedophilia so much. I should censor myself on because YouTube's not gonna like it, but pedophilia is not beauty standards. And it's just so concerning. Men are so weird, first of all. Let me like that's not a wild take, I think. That's not a wild take, men are weird, but yeah, like we see on these pageants in this movie, I'm taking this movie as an example, but in this movie we see the little girls like in their bikini and their little outfit and makeup and like trying to appeal to whom? Who are they trying to appeal to? Because like I'm all for little girls expressing themselves, obviously, and enjoying, the clothes and the makeup and stuff. I love that as a kid, but like that's weird. That's weird. And in this photo, you can see everyone's like in a pretty little bikini and trying their best to have blowout and makeup and stuff. And Olive, she does have a bathing suit, but it's not as revealing or as extravagant as the others. And she doesn't have like a lot of makeup and big hair and stuff. Like she looks like a kid. The other ones, they look like miniature women.
Hi, this is editing Garance. Well, media collecting Garance, but like anyway, I was collecting some media, like some footage, some videos and stuff, and I remembered that I forgot to say these girls are performing just like women and girls from a young age are taught to perform femininity. That like femininity is a performance. We are asked to put on this mask of makeup and cute clothes and shave our hairs. It's like putting on a costume and performing for the men and for people to judge us. And that is like literally what is happening here in these beauty pageants for grown women and for girls, like for little girls, is that yeah, it's a performance and whoever is the most feminine, whoever checks the most criterias, like she's the winner. And it's all a performance and none of it's real. And yeah, that's I just wanted to say those words like femininity is a performance that I didn't say exactly. I basically said that in what I already said, but I want to say femininity is a performance, and that's like the embodiment of that.
We live in a society where men have decided that they are attracted to children, and you have to look like a child. And that shows, like, for example, men don't like women who have hairs. And it's like, well, you know who doesn't have hairs? Little girls, people that have not gone through puberty, 0 to, I would say, yeah, 11, 12-year olds. So you tell me that's who you're attracted to? Grown women have hairs. It's not disgusting. It's just how it is. That's our body, right? It is so normalized to remove our hair by any technique. You can shave, you can wax, whatever. And it is so normalized that if we have accepted as women, like, we shouldn't have hairs because men don't find that attractive. And it's like, what do you mean? I'm a grown woman. I have gone through puberty. I have hairs. You have all those beauty standards, like, very restrictive, and you have to be a grown woman, but you have to look like a child. And it's like, huh? So yeah, little girls don't exist because we can't. We don't have the right to. We have to be grown women who look like little children. So that's weird. Part two, the box. Now the box. We kind of talked about it already. By box, I mean like the imaginary box that is around all of us. For example, I was talking about beauty standards for women. You have to shave, you have to wear makeup, you have to. So there's like this very restrictive box of what is okay and what is not okay. And mind you, that box does not apply only to women. There are boxes for everyone all the time. There are also boxes for like men. If you're a man, you have to behave a certain way, you have to look a certain way, you need to be muscular, you can have long hair, you can be emotional, you can cry, because that doesn't make you a man. There's this little box, and we imprison everyone in it depending on their gender, their sexuality, their nationality, their skin color. In this movie, I think every character is trying to break out of the box, of their own box. I think everyone has their own box. As a woman, I have my own box and my little criteria that I have to check. But a black woman would have a different box, and a man would have a different box, and a black man would have a different box. Like everyone has a different box with criteria that they have to meet. And in this movie, every character has a different box. So as we talked about Olive, she has this box of she has to be, beautiful and sexy, and she doesn't fit in. In this movie, she doesn't fit in because she doesn't really play the game like the other girls. Like in the talent show, the other girls, they're singing or they're dancing or they're doing something. And she does that dance that her grandfather taught her, and it's very it is inappropriate, widely inappropriate, but like so funny. Like she's dancing and it's sexual, but like not in a way that would appeal to men, and so that's why people don't like it. Because yeah, in this movie, like people were so like appalled at seeing Olive dancing, which was very provocative, but like she was clearly enjoying it. She was being provocative, she was enjoying it, she was having fun. And they were part of that, but when it came to judging little girls in bikinis, oh, they were okay with that. And I was like, okay. Every character in this movie is trying to break out of something. Now, Olive is trying to break out of. She's trying to be a girl, but like not matching the criteria that society has for her. Like she doesn't try to be a woman. She tries to. She's just being herself, and she happens to be a girl, you know. Yeah, so I think this movie deep down is really about that box that is like keeping us imprisoned, all of us. You can't be yourself. You have to be the version of yourself that is acceptable by society and by the criteria of that box. Olive is just being herself. She's just having fun and being a girl. And people don't like that because that's not what they want a girl to be. That's not how they want a girl to behave or to dress. I love that her family at the end like supports her, like they go on stage with her and they do that wildly inappropriate dance with her, and then they decide that they won't enter the pageant ever again. And by the way, the pageant, I didn't mention it, but like the title that they are competing for is the Little Miss Sunshine title. Again, that shows what is expected of girls. Girls have to be Little Miss Sunshine. You have to be a sunshine. As a girl, your job is to be beautiful and to shine and to be smiling and joyful and polite at all times. And it's just like so. It's funny because like it really encapsulates what is expected of girls. Like you have to be the perfect little girl, always perfect, always joyful, always happy. And that's not the case because I'm gonna shock you right there, but girls, we are also human beings. We also have emotions. And I do, for example, myself, I am myself a pretty positive person. I try to be, smiling and colorful and joyful. I mean, I love colors. You can see my room, you can see my makeup. I love colors. I love to spread joy, and I'm very sunny person. I get that a lot because that's who I am. That's just my personality, and I happen to match the criteria for girls on that one. But I also have more darker sides. I mean, I do get angry sometimes. I get upset, and I'm not always joyful and happy and colorful. Sometimes I'm back in my bed and I'm just not in the mood, you know? Except when you're a girl, you don't have the choice but to be always happy and joyful and smiling and grateful. And you're not allowed to have emotions except for those who are accepted. And so that title of Little Miss Sunshine is very representative of what is expected of girls as a whole. You have to be perfect little girl at all times, and you don't have the right to fail because if you are anything but that, you don't have any value, you don't have any worth, and you are failing at being a woman. Again, so restrictive, but that's the box for you. Three, my personal thoughts. So my personal thoughts on this movie. As I said, I really, really love this movie. I think it's a very beautiful movie. It's very emotional and moving. I think this movie represents very well what it's like to be a girl, like the struggle of growing up this specific gender and everything that is expected of you as a girl. I really enjoyed this movie. It's very funny. I laughed multiple times. It's crazy. And as I said, it's very emotional. We have all those scenes that I remembered from when I was a kid. They're very emotional and very cool. I'm very glad that I watched this movie again because now, as a grown woman, I mean, I'm not that old, but I'm not 7 year old anymore. I can definitely relate to a lot of things. I mean, I am always expected to behave in a way, to dress in a way, to be in a way as a woman, and it's exhausting because sometimes I'm not like this. I'm very like I'm a girly girl. I like makeup. I like dresses. I like pink, all that. So I tend to match criteria. Plus, I'm white, so that's always a bonus, right? I tend to match the criteria a lot. There are times where I don't match those criteria because I don't want to, because I don't care, because I'm not in the mood, because I physically cannot. Because as a woman, I also have to deal with all sorts of things. I am like confident enough in myself to know that even when I'm not in pretty dresses and makeup, I am not fighting as a woman. Like it's not the case for everyone. I'm glad that movies like this exist to show little girls that you don't have to be what people expect of you. You can just be yourself. If that happens to be, to match people's expectations, great. Question mark, question mark, question mark. But like to be happy, you don't have to have validation from others. You have to be confident in yourself and be who you are. That's something that I try to live by, that I learned on my own. And I really think that this movie is very beautiful. And I strongly encourage you to watch it if you haven't, especially if you're a girl. Yeah, it's very telling of society and how it treats women and girls. So anyway, that was my take on Little Miss Sunshine. It's nothing new. Like everyone kind of knows what it's about. But I just wanted to talk about it because I thought it was important and I really like this movie. If you have anything to add, please do in the comments. I will gladly answer to you. And yeah, I think that's it for this video. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. You can leave a like, comment, and subscribe. As I said, I have other channels if you want to check them out. And yeah, all right. Bye.